Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here. Welcome back to the Sunday Recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in games. As always, we'll start with some EVE Online, and I think I managed to play an average amount of EVE Online. Of course, it's going really well, I feel, with the Moon operation. We set up Moonbase Alpha, we have started our first extraction cycle, and the explosion of the chunk is normally planned for Tuesday in the afternoon. There I'll create a belt for the first time, and it's going to yield us some extra megasite potentially, and a Tech 2 compound as well. I'm still not sure which one it is. We'll see when I actually blow up the chunks and find out what it is that way. It's not that important to me, at least specifically which one it is, as long as there is a Tech 2 one. I'm actually more excited about the megasite source, see what kind of volumes are there, and of course to see how popular that created belt is going to be, if we get a lot of cherry pickers and that after the first day it's gone, or if people actively mine all of it. We'll see how that works out. Another thing to think about is that this was basically a test on the shortest cycle, so a 6-day cycle I think was the shortest possible one, which does mean that I'll have to decide on a longer cycle or not, which will depend on the volumes available, maybe my own playtime, things like that. I feel it's like a pretty good system. And it's definitely a nice service that Go Incorporated will now add to Detail actively. It's gonna take a little bit of time and planning as well, but seems pretty great, and I feel pretty awesome about the fact that basically a solo corporation has been able to do that. Next to that we have the Guardians Gala, which I've been actively running for the first 3 days or something like that, I think, trying to earn those 60 points a day, which is what you need to get to 700 before the 2 weeks end. And I must say it feels a bit too grindy to me. I'm not going to get to those 700 points. The main reason is that they take a decent amount of time to get through one of those sites, and with the current amount of competition that is flying around there, you need 4 or 5 sites at least in order to get those 60 points, and that takes like an hour or more of work, and it really feels like a grind to me. Well, the rewards, I mean, you've got the injectors, but other than that, the skins, I already have most of those, so I don't feel like it's worth the effort at this point, and I would have preferred, I think, either a toned down system or another option that feels a little bit less grindy. But you know, I feel like considering the CSM minutes, CCP is continuing their experimentations when it comes to these events, just opening up more options for themselves, and that way they can decide on a hard event, an easy event, something in between, maybe a mix of all of those things. So I feel like the system still has lots of potential. Just for me, as a mostly solo player, the Guardians Gala is not one that I'm going to complete all the way to the end. Next to that, some BPCs. I feel like it's been an okay week when it comes to the numbers. I think I only went back twice to get the BPCs up there, but that they've been a decent amount of sales there, and especially the Orca BPC is still selling for like 14 million or something like that. Definitely a great sale at the moment, and the refinery as well went up to like 38 million, I think, for the M refinery. So that one is obviously very popular at the moment, thanks to the moon mining changes which we've taken part of. So good week in EVE Online, and I'm definitely looking forward to creating my own belt next week as well. Next to this EVE Online action, I also played a little bit of Hearthstone. I basically finished the solo dungeon grind for, was it Kobolds and Catacombs or something like that. It was a lot of fun. There was one exception. The mage grind did feel a little bit frustrating. Basically, for all the other classes, you have certain pathways that, you know, you feel like, yeah, I'm building up a strong deck that'll have a chance at the end. And I never really saw that pathway when it comes to the mage decks, because it's so spell heavy, and +3 spell damage doesn't feel like it changes things enough. So I always try to go a minion route, but you don't get great minions. That's been very tricky to do. Eventually I managed to get through that, and I finished the first dungeon. I'm assuming it's the first dungeon. I haven't tried any of the other ones. With all classes, got a nice card back for that, but I'm not sure what my next step in Hearthstone is. I'm actually thinking of, I've got 600 gold, which gives me room to run some arenas, so I think that that's going to be my next step there. I feel like like it's a great game. I was really surprised as well. I got an email from Blizzard with like my stats on what I've done there. Like it was like 97% victory against the bosses. Of course, you tend to only lose 1 in 8 at some point. And yeah, they do try to pull you in when you're actively playing Hearthstone. It didn't feel like spam because I never got anything like that when I wasn't actively playing Hearthstone. And so there they basically showed me a bit of a recap of all the activities that I've done in Hearthstone itself. Of course, it's more like a commercial effort because they are trying to push certain special deals when it comes to card purchases, which I'm not interested in at the moment. But Hearthstone, I absolutely love what they've done there, especially with the solo dungeons and now then with the arenas. I feel like even if you don't plan to like buy all the cards, buy all the expansions or anything like that, you can still have lots of fun with that game, and it's a perfect mix in my opinion for free to play. And of course an actual expensive type of game, which is the card games. So I feel like here Blizzard is actually very fair in their model so far, which overall, you know, there's lots of controversy about loot boxes as well. Might do a video on that at some point as well. But when it comes to the Blizzard games themselves, I'm not talking Activision, I'm not talking Destiny 2, but the Blizzard games themselves, I personally feel like Blizzard knows the line not to cross and that they don't do that. So I'm actually enjoying my time in Hearthstone, and I'm looking forward to, I think, trying some arenas next. And for the final game, of course, World of Warcraft. So I've been actively playing that every single day so far, although I am slowing down in the amount of hours that I'm spending every day in World of Warcraft. I think at this point I am very close to level 70, so I've been playing a decent amount of WoW at the moment. I feel like maybe my goal is going to be to slow it down to like 1 level a day or something like that, and then maybe a little bit more in the weekends so that I can get to 80 in a week, something like that might still be possible. But I am having fun. I'm mostly just running through the world doing quests, especially now that I have the flying mounts back. So I found the old characters, and you actually get all your mounts across all your characters, which is really cool, really powerful. And that has sped up things once again quite substantially, because I did feel like in the original continent up to level 60 you're going very quickly. You can get a mount at like 10 or 20 or something like that, and then you can still zoom through those quests quite effectively. Then I got to Northrend only with like a horse mount that you got for the pre-order, and that felt a lot slower. But unlocking the flying mounts, and you can actually fly straight to Dalaran to buy the skill needed for that, which was actually very affordable as well, opens up that speed once again, and I feel like once again I'm making very quick progress just doing the regular quests. I am toning down a little bit on the dungeon runs at the moment. Basically it's an energy thing. I feel like I do want to do my best. I don't want to let them down. I've got very bad gear, so I feel like I have to pay extra attention, try to get my rotations right to not disappoint the group too much, and as that it feels like an extra effort which I don't have to do when I focus only on questing. That is something that I can do with like a video on the second screen, you know, put up a second set of headphones, listen to that, and just, you know, relaxingly quest my way to the next level in World of Warcraft. So I look forward to more on that. Actually getting to level 80 I think is going to open up content that I've never done before. So I think it's like Mists of Pandaria and the Cataclysm expansion, if I'm not mistaken. You get to do that until level 100, and then of course it's Legion and the actual current content, where I am absolutely not planning to go hardcore. Did get quite a few downvotes on the first video that came out on World of Warcraft, but no need to worry there, guys. I feel like they are completely separate games, World of Warcraft and EVE Online, and I'm definitely not planning to go super hardcore in WoW or to drop EVE in any way at all. I'm just having fun, and I'm prepping myself for Battle for Azeroth, where I might spend a little bit more hardcore time, but that is for after the summer, so still plenty of time to see what I'll do there. I'm having fun with my hunter. World of Warcraft is a completely different game from EVE Online. It is more on rails, you do quests, very casual and solo friendly at this point in my opinion. and I'm actually having a great time in there, just prepping for battle for Azeroth. And that's basically what I did last week. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.